Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi, everybody. This is Chatting with Nat. It's Natalie James and Natalie Shaw. And today we have singer-songwriter Taylor Lamborn. Utilizing the full range and dynamics of her vocals, Taylor Lamborn regularly demonstrates her unique ability to bring a roaring crowd to silence. It is in those quiet moments when her songwriting and lyrics take center stage that Taylor addresses a full spectrum of humanity, putting a voice to the hours she spends exploring and at times overanalyzing the nuances of daily life and human interaction. She has released a number of live singles, 3 projects, toured internationally as a solo artist, and worked locally with Cleveland legends, which is awesome. Let's give her a round of applause. Hi, Taylor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm still alive and kicking. I like to answer it that way because of everything that's going on in the world. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So how...
I would agree with that.
Yeah, every day there's something new. It's wild. Sometimes you have to pinch yourself and say, hey, what century am I living in? So how have you been during this whole pandemic, election, George Floyd, new viruses, Ukraine situation?
Oh, geez. I actually, over the pandemic, wrote a lot of really depressing songs. Yeah, and it's a good time to reflect. It's creating a lot of material for me, but gosh, I wish I was in a period of human existence where I was writing nothing about tragedies and was only writing about sunshine and rainbows, but here we are.
Yeah.
And, if nothing else, it's a learning opportunity, and hopefully we can help prepare the next generation to be little warriors for good. So,
amen to that. It's just been, and I've interviewed a lot of, artists that took the time to write during this period because there's so much going on, and there's a lot of moments where people could take some time to do some self-introspection. And so this is my next question for you. Obviously, the pandemic it's just a bad situation. It's just bad. People died. People lost members, people lost friends. People have long-term COVID. Some people lost limbs, survived, but lost limbs. So many tragedies came out of this. But at the same time, there were some pros during the pandemic. There's a thing I always say that's crazy for me is, seeing family members walk together outside, because I think the world has become so impatient. People don't take time to spend time with people that they love. Climate change, oh my God. We were out of the streets for a year, and they said the pollution level went down, and the animals and the trees and nature was just like, oh my gosh, I hope they never come back. You have people quit their jobs because what the pandemic did is made them realize even more that life is short and that they needed to do something that's not just about money, but something that they're passionate about. You had people that did cut back on hours of work because they realized they weren't spending enough time with their family members. And then you have artists like you that decided to write songs, create music during the pandemic. Some people decided to rebrand. Some people decided to be a more effective player. Some people just decided to do something totally different. So during this time, did you change how you want to be perceived as an artist? Did you change your branding? Are you going to still be the same type of artist? What did you think about during the pandemic?
I thought a lot about mortality. I grappled a lot with ego. I feel like one of the things that I actually haven't really touched on much in these interviews is that I feel like in so many ways to be an artist in its entirety is almost like a self-serving thing. And in a world that needs more compassion and people like doing things like altruistically, there are other like really valuable uses of my time. So I've been trying to kind of put my ego aside a lot, and I volunteer and find better ways to spend my time, and not pursue music almost as like hungrily and greedily as I had in the past, and maybe pursue life in a really meaningful, like authentic way, and have music just be more of a part of it that feels like complementary to it. So what I've done is, pull back on the number of shows that I'm playing, be more intentional with the things I'm recording, do it almost like to preserve all the work that I've done and give credit to the work that I've done over the past decade. But then also, really look forward in my life and my existence to make sure that I'm walking in a way that I'm proud and I'm living in a way that I'm proud. And, So, and that's why a lot of my writing actually is just like overanalyzing, like, why am I here? What is the purpose of life? What should I do with my short time here on earth, and how can I serve my community and my family best? And that's not to discredit the value of music. I think having these conversations through song, through art, it helps people reframe some of their thoughts. And I do think that there is value there, and I want to make sure that I'm creating music that has value. So
now, what was it about the music industry that made you say, okay, Taylor has to do this? Music is me. It's just something, this is my life. I have to do music. Was it something that you saw, you heard? What was it that made you decide to get into this crazy business?
It all kind of almost happened by accident, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
I always loved singing and music. I would, fall asleep curled up with a boombox as a kid and listen to the radio all night long. And music was a huge part of our family road trips. And my dad had speaker out at dinner, and I loved music so much. And I would spend hours upon hours at my grandmother's house just clunking along on a piano, trying to come up with chords and making melody, even though I had no piano training. So I've been drawn to it my whole entire life. I learned to play the guitar, rudimentary skills in high school, and enjoyed writing songs for fun. And when I graduated from college and I had my first job, I was in a small town in Ohio, and I spent a lot of downtime at the guitar shop there thinking, with my first paycheck, I'm going to buy a really nice guitar. And through that, I met one of the salesmen in the shop, Gabriel O'Brien, and he helped me produce and record my first album. Okay. And it was a hobby for me. I was doing it because I needed an outlet, a creative outlet, and I was in a small town where there wasn't much of a social life, and it was just the best way for me to spend my time. I felt really excited about it, but it wasn't on purpose. And then I quit that first job, and I had an album suddenly, and I was like, well, this is cool. I'm free. I have, good savings. I have an album. I'm going to go on the road. And it's just like, it's going to be a fun, long road trip. I'll play a bunch of shows. And then suddenly it kind of, I realized, like, okay, I can make money. I can, and just one thing after another, suddenly I'm a performer. it was really just serendipitous. Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. And how important is it for you to be authentic in your songwriting and as a person?
That's honestly one of my biggest driving parts of, I guess, like my brand almost. My first album was called Honest Enough, and it was just kind of like the songs I write, they come all from, you know, a personal place, and they're driven by personal experiences, and that's what that was. And when I first started performing, this was back in 2012, I had that whole conversation with my friends and my family, wondering if I should have a stage name. I go by my real name, Taylor Lamborn, but I was born the same year as Taylor Swift, and I had long blonde hair, and everywhere I went, because 2012, like, she was the person.
Right.
Like, it was that easy line people would draw. They're like, oh, you're just like Taylor Swift. So I was like, should I go by a stage name? Like, should I come up? I mean, I want to be my own person. I don't want to be compared to her. She's a superstar.
Right.
But I was like, no, I was Taylor my whole life. I'm not going to change that. I'm Taylor Lamborn, and and I think that's easier now because there are other famous Taylors out there.
Right.
and life has changed. But I think authenticity and like owning who I was in the past, who I am in the present, and who I want to be in the future is entirely part of my artistry. I'm not putting on a face. This is just who I am. So
that's awesome. That's what I like to hear. But because one of the things that, you know, a lot of people know and some people don't realize is what the past 3 years have brought out is that people are craving authenticity. They're craving real, because of the fact that, you know, past 3 years there was all this crap about fake news, this, that, and the other. No one knew what to believe anymore, because you'd read something and say, oh, okay. Then if you turn another page, no, that's not true. So people want hope, okay? They want to be able to, especially with artists, they want to be able to listen to somebody that gets them, okay? That's not about all this fake crap out there. You and I are very similar in the sense that, you know, I think we both write about social impact message songs. And social impact message songs are very interesting to me. And in the world of music and radio and all that stuff, because I don't think the music industry fully understands social impact message songs. So sometimes, you know, obviously we want to be successful with our music, but when you're writing social impact message songs, they're more about trying to help the world. It's more about getting somebody to understand themselves, or helping somebody get through a certain situation, or we're trying to get a message out to the world to say, look, people are going through this. Maybe we need to take a step back and understand a few things. So, you know, I enter a lot of songwriting contests. I enter a lot of things. And, you know, some of these things, these places, they just don't get social impact. It's not even about charting. It's about being an effective player in this world with our music. It's about making a difference.
Yeah.
And I remember entering something, and and the person who came back with some feedback and said, well, you know, chartability. I said, you didn't get the song. You completely missed the message of the song. Everything is not about charting. Everything is not about like being the next Taylor Swift. That's not what this is about. You know, obviously we want to make money. We want to continue to be able to do this as for a living. But praise to people like you and other people that write social impact message music, because it really shows that you're compassionate, understanding, and loving individuals. And I love songs and breakup songs and all that stuff. But the radio stations inundate the radio stations with love songs and stuff like that. And I love artists that just decide to be themselves and create music that they want to create. do you agree with my assessment about social impact message songs?
Oh, entirely. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to say I don't write, the love songs and the breakup songs too, because those come out so easily. But I also do try to consciously add those other thought lines into my art. And I think the pandemic was very helpful in fueling more interesting content in terms of that.
Right.
I thought a lot about mortality and the purpose of life and the fragility of, just even being human. So completely I'm in line with you. And I would say, even though I've always had a mission of being authentic, I think I had the vision to have that be like a much more concentrated need over the past couple of years. And it's just grown, and it's much stronger now. So I can totally respect that, and I love it.
Awesome. Like I just released a song called Blocked. It's a country single. And it's about blocking people on social media. It's funny, during the election and stuff, I blocked a lot of people, and I knew a lot of people did the same thing. And people like the song because they're like, oh, it's true. And, a lot of comments are like, yeah, there are a lot of people I need to block out of my life because this is what I saw. This is what I keep seeing. Sometimes people block you for no reason. It's like, if you have your own opinion, they don't like that. And it's like, okay. And you try to agree to disagree, but that never works. I always tell people that music is our superpower because music has the power to heal, move mountains, make somebody's day. People play music when they're angry. They play it when they're joyful. And so we have a gift, I think, that needs to be out there and do its thing. And if we can write things that help other people, it's just the most amazing thing in the world. The world.
Entirely.
And what kind of genre, people hate this question, I hate this question, but I still ask it, would you say your music is?
See, that it's a hard one. I think I'm influenced really strongly by, contemporary folk and pop music. I love listening to R&B growing up, and I wish that I could say I have an R&B like slant to my music, but I don't think it's actually there. But then I moved to Cleveland, and Cleveland is so heavy in the blues. And there are some very strong blues songs that I have, but then there's some very strong, just like basic folk chord structures that I have. And I kind of, teeter between different genres. And it's mostly just all like very lyrically driven. I let the lyrics kind of dictate what happens melodically and rhythmically, and that's what ends up kind of coming out of me. So
I love that. So you're very versatile. I always tell people, somebody used to ask that question, and I'm like, well, I'm an artist. I create because I do many genres. Now I've decided to make myself in the Americana country genre. I love Americana. I like the singer-songwriter aspect of it. I like the storytelling. It's not that you don't tell stories in the other genres, but there's something special about Americana for me in country music. But yeah, I think going forward, I think people just say, I'm an artist. I create. You don't tell a person that paints or sketches or draws that, oh, no, you're not an artist. You do this, you do that. They never tell artists that. They tell musicians, no, this is what you should call yourself. But I'm like, I'm an artist. I create. We just don't, write music, just albums. But sometimes we create music for sync, licensing, for different types of reasons. I think that especially if you have a versatile catalog and you can do many genres, it's not even about just saying I'm a specific genre. It's just that I sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to play your song, Fine. Tell me what that's about.
Okay. Yeah, so Fine is one that I wrote in 2012 for years. A lot of what I was writing at that time was dictated by the social circles that I was within. We were working for a really toxic, in a toxic work environment, and I had some friends who were just accepting the situation at hand, and we were all debating if we should quit and everything else, and you could just see people walking around and saying they were fine over and over again, you know, and clearly they were not. And this was written inspired by one individual, but by that experience as a whole. And I think so many people can relate to that as a concept. You know, you just have to stomach what you're given and take it. In reality, no, you don't have to stomach it. You can make a change. It's just making that change is very difficult.
Exactly.
So,
and that's fine. All right, let's play.
She set herself up, lied, said she didn't care. She just cried when he left her there. And now she's breaking down while he's walking away. Can't let him know 'cause she'd look weak that way. And she's stuck on the tough side between happy and mortified. She can't let it show. It's her power play. She can't let it go. Nobody knows. Can't let it go. Nobody knows. She can't let it go. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. What's the point in looking good when all she feels is bad? And what she will when she saves face, but every inch of her is sad. She's so unhappy, but she's scared of change. She just bites her tongue and she stays the same. And she can't let it go. Nobody knows. Can't let it go. Can't let it go. Can't let it go. Oh, she can't let it go. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So tomorrow she'll take the long way home just to see what she can find. 'Cause no one's gonna save her when she keeps saying she's fine.
Ooh, this thing keeps skipping. This audio. Now, the audio is coming in and out, but I think, my God, that is an extremely powerful song.
Well, thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's extreme. It's so real and authentic. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, you just sang that song to me because I left my job for several reasons last May. But.
Oh, really?
Yes, but the entire song rang so true to me. I thought you were singing to me.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that's what I try to do with I want them to be relatable. People can, like, reflect and, apply it to their own life. Because that could be about a job, or it could be about a friendship, or it could be about a work environment or family conflict. It could be about so many different things. And, if you just kind of sit with it and say, like, all right, I'm not fine. I can't keep saying I'm fine. This is not fine. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're singing right to me. Right to me.
Oh, well, that means a lot, because that's my intention. I see songs as conversations.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons that I've really enjoyed my career as a live performer, especially in small, intimate rooms.
Right.
I think every song has its own life, depending on, like, the energy and the people in the room, and so much is determined by, like, those ephemeral moments. So that recording and the other one that we're going to listen to today, they're both live. I had a in-home concert last September with less than 20 people here. It was completely unamplified. You can't even tell from that recording that there are people in the room. But it was a completely one take live performance. And if you talk about authenticity, the whole purpose of that was because I love those authentic moments that you don't usually get to capture, and be it the flaw in how I performed it because I didn't hit the string right or the way that I would have wanted to. I wanted to capture that and be okay with releasing that into the world. So the project that I'm releasing now is all with that mindset, and they were all captured in that thing.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Have you ever thought, do you look into sync and licensing for your music?
That's an ambition of mine. I genuinely would love to find a way to build that into my career. But I'm still kind of just on the cusp of learning about it. If you've got any suggestions, please let me know.
Oh, yeah. So what I was going to tell you, this week or today or tomorrow, I will send you a list of places you should submit your music to.
Thank you.
There's so many websites that you definitely need to There's one of the things, and it's funny because I learned about all of these things. Well, I knew some of the sites, and I knew about sync and licensing, but during the pandemic, I was on Clubhouse a lot, and I met this one lady that I'm with now, and she would give us all this information, and there's this called TuneFind. And so what it does is that you can go to like any of your favorite shows or any shows you're looking up, and it will tell you what type of music that they're looking for. It could be folk, it could be pop, whatever. And then you can reach out to those people. Also, there's another site called disco.ac, which I have to do more of their webinars. But the whole point of disco.ac is that a lot of music supervisors go to that website to find music. There are a lot more music supervisors that are looking to work with independent artists. I mean, there's some that stay with whoever, blah, blah, blah. But they do want to work with independent artists. So I will definitely send you that because you're awesome. And everybody,
thank you so
everybody
much.
needs to hear your music. It's crazy. What is your writing process? How do you start with writing a song? I'm assuming you obviously play an instrument. How do you go about it?
Well, depends on my state of mind. There are certain times, if I'm in the shower or on a run or driving somewhere, that something will just come to me, and I'll need to record a voice memo right there and remember it. And there are other times that I'm trying to learn something new, like a new chord voicing on the guitar, and I'll hear it and I'm like, oh, this could be something. And there are other times that I'm just, playing scales on the piano and I accidentally hit a note and I'm like, oh, wait, that could be a great melody. And so a lot of it is just being open to taking inspiration if you find it and not letting it slip through your fingers. And that's what I try really hard to harness. And it can be something as simple as I'm talking to somebody and they say a word and I'm like, oh, wait, that would sound really, that word sounds so beautiful.
Yeah.
I need to write a song that includes that word. And, it can go from there.
You and I are soul sisters. I swear to God.
Really?
You know why I say that? Because you just said something that I say all the time. I said, if there's a word I want to use, I'm going to make it fit in the song.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
swear to you. I'm exactly like you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I love that. and you mentioned the shower. The shower is where I get inspiration all the time. Now, can I remember everything in the shower? No, to the point that I'm trying to create a waterproof gadget that you can just put in the shower and it's the way the sound, but it puts your voice in there so you can just press and sing. Because, you get out of the shower, you try to repeat things, you kind of lose things. Now I bring my phone to the side if I think of anything. But another person...
oh, yeah, I do that too. Fortunately, the new iPhones, I think, are a little bit more waterproof.
Oh, my God.
Because I've destroyed phones before.
Oh, my God. So, but one person I interviewed said there was a waterproof pad that you can put... I bought it. Now, I have this problem where I buy things and put them somewhere and can't find them. But I have to find that thing because I have to use it. It's waterproof, and I think it comes with a pencil, and you can write while you're in the shower. Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome. My problem is, though, even if I write the words down, I might not remember the melody or the rhythm.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating where sometimes you'll write too deep into the song, and you're like, oh wait, how did that start?
Exactly.
And then you get stuck. That's happened to me a number of times. But I have to, tell myself afterward, well, if you can't remember it 5 seconds later, it probably wasn't that good of a song. Let it go.
That's the right thought. That's the right thought. Oh my gosh. I still use paper. I use the computer too, and I'll start out with the chorus. I like to work out, have a theme and stuff like that, and I'll throw everything on the page, and then I'll work around the chorus to come out with the verses. I'm the type I can't be forced to write. That's one thing about me. I have to be moved by something to write something. So but I'm with you with words. I have a song called Authentically Me. And I had to have this line. I said, I don't care if it rhymes. I'm not even into the rhyming thing anymore. I try, and if it doesn't work, whatever. Who cares? And it was a line that said, I'm the pot of gold at the end of my rainbow. And I said, I don't care. It's going in there. Somehow it's going to work. And I made it work. I made it work. All right.
Good. I love it.
I'm going to play your next song, Brittle. Tell me what that's about.
This was one that I wrote during the pandemic.
Okay.
And it was me grappling with, all of the difficulties of being human. I was feeling bad about feeling bad about myself. And I was wanting to, you always find yourself, comparing yourself to the gods and the myths of, like, right. Be it industry that you want to be part of, or the Instagram people that you want to be more like, or some fable that you were told growing up, and nobody's life is going to turn out like a Disney movie. So, yeah, that's what this is about. And it's just me overthinking what it's like to be a human.
I love it. Let's do it.
Not made of stone, just nerves, flesh and bone. Say it's God's will for me to just sit still, but not made of stone. Not made of glass, but under pressure I might crack. If you think time will slowly just flow by, no, it's been kicking my ass. And this rain won't melt me, but I hate the wet. And these words won't kill me, but they'll fuck with my head. And you say time is the thief, you haven't learned to barter. I know I can make something of these hours if I just work a little harder. More than my mistakes, but I can't toss them away. There've been so many nights that I just get by, always make it through the day. Just to toss this envy down, wishing well. And I scream to the heavens, got my soul to sell. And it seems jealousy, it doesn't have a bottom. And heaven won't pay for souls when it's already got 'em. Not made of light, I'm no harmonious balance of wrong and right. I wasn't shaped from sacred clay, just feeling brittle today. Wasn't shaped from a sacred clay, just feeling brittle today.
Audio Jungle.
Lordy, I don't even know what to say. Listening to your voice is just like, you have got, I'm going to send you stuff. There, I don't usually get at a loss of words for a lot of artists. I think a lot of the artists I have interviewed have been awesome and great. They're all great. But the authenticity of your voice, your presence, who you are, it just rings so true in your music. It's scary. It really is. And that's a compliment, because I just don't know what to say. It's just, my God, you're just awesome, and the world has to know you. The world has to know you. Yeah, we have to make that happen. We just have to.
Well, thank you.
You toured internationally, yeah, but we got to get more people to know you because wow.
Yeah. Well, everything that I've done so far has been self-managed, and it's been very small scale. My world knows me, and I'm really happy with that. But it would be lovely, you know, to have more opportunities to share music with people and have these conversations, because I think that they're good at conversations to have. And if I can find a more sustainable way to, you know, make music and make money doing it, I am all for that. You know, that's not that's never something any of us, I think, will turn down. So
yeah, I'm gonna send you some stuff and we'll have to chat. Because
awesome.
It's what are 3 things you wish you had known before you got into the music industry?
You know, I think that there are things that I still need to know.
Me too.
Because I felt so many like brushes with success, but I still haven't, you know, leveled out and fully really found a way to like make this my career where it's comfortable and predictable and understandable.
Right.
I do appreciate that, like, for my career thus far, I've really gone with my heart and my instinct. There have been some times that's led me astray, and I've and put my confidence in other people instead of myself.
Right.
So I think that's my main thing. I don't know if I have 3 things, but if I could go back in time, I would tell my youthful self to never stop aspiring to hold the cards and be the one in charge, because I was constantly like ready to hand off, you know, my guitar to somebody else and be like, I'm not good enough. You're better than me. Where instead I could have said, well, I know how I want it to sound, and I need to work to the point where you can hear what I'm hearing, and I'm the one doing it. Because what you're going to do is never going to be what's in my brain. There's no way that I can articulate that to you without doing it myself. I wish as a younger person I would have, you know, pushed that confidence button and told myself just to work and work and work and don't give away your light to somebody else, because I did that too many times. And now I'm done doing that.
Amen. I like it. Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. And lastly, what is a quote, a message, passage, whatever, a saying, a word that you like to use to push yourself every day, or when you're feeling down, or even when you're feeling happy?
I don't know if I think my theme as of late has just been gratitude. And to be grateful for everything, be it lessons learned the hard way or the opportunities and privileges that I've had as, you know, a person that have led me to where I am. I think there have been times where I've gotten down on myself because I've had advantages, and I'm like, well, other people haven't had the same opportunities, so I should, you know, just push the hold button and help them catch up. But instead it's like, all right, well, just be grateful for where you are and don't, you know, punish yourself for where you are. And help lift other people up and help move the world forward, and be just gratitude. That's been the main thing. Mm-hmm.
Mine has been, I write my own narrative. A lot of times in our industry, yeah, a lot of times in our industry, people, you know, they'll interview us, they'll say something we didn't say. I'm like, you either change or you take it down. I will never let anybody say something about me that's not true. I know a lot of people that do that. Oh, it's just the press. No. People have enabled us to do whatever they want. In my case, Natalie's going to say, I write my own narrative. You don't say anything that's not true. That's right, and I'm doing it. Write my own narrative.
It's interesting. There have been some interviews that I've had where people will ask a question but also insert the answer that they want in that question. And then you're just kind of stuck with the yes or no, but they're leading you to the yes. And I'm like, this isn't a conversation. This is you, like, structuring your image, and I just have to kind of nod my head energetically, and that's weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I'm not going to let that happen anymore.
I love that. I love that a lot.
I need to get a T-shirt. I'm getting a T-shirt made. Thank you so much, Taylor, for being on Chatting with Nat. I am going to send you this week all the information, and let's chat about some things. Oh my gosh, it takes a lot to leave me speechless, but I believe that you are awesome. The world just needs to know who you are. The rest of the world needs to know who you are. Or sister talking to you. You're like a soul sister now.
I love that. Good. Well, I'm really looking forward to staying in touch with you and, seeing your journey unfold too. I think that's one of the great things about artists when they find their community and their tribe and they lift each other up. I'm so happy to add you to mine. Let's do this.
Hey! Yay! All right, everyone. This was Chatting with Nat with singer-songwriter Taylor Lamborn. You can find her on Facebook, Taylor Lamborn Music. You can find her on Instagram, Tay Mad Lamb. I like that. On Twitter, Tay Mad Lamb again. And on TikTok at Tay Mad Lamb. Just follow her. If you didn't get that, you just Google Taylor Lamborn because she's awesome. You heard it here. She left me speechless. You can find her on Spotify, stream her. And she's got an acoustic project. Just sounds amazing. It's just amazing. You just have to listen to her. Next time on Chatting with Nat.
Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.